Welcome back to the Arkansas A&M Black Bears Dynasty on NCAA Football 14, guys, and welcome to the first Bear Down podcast. That's right, man. This is the inaugural episode. What you can expect from each episode will highlight the past week in A&M from the 3 games that were uploaded. We'll look ahead to the next 3 games, the teams that we'll be playing up against. We'll look at stats. We'll look at the top 25. We'll take a look at Heisman Watch. We'll take a look at everything, including recruiting. This will be your chance to see recruiting every week on the channel. That does not mean that storylines will be taken away. You'll get a storyline in I'll try to get a storyline in every game, but the Bear Down podcast is going to give you a deep look into recruiting and what's going on inside of A&M. So our Bears are coming off a tough win against ULL, securing their spot in the Sun Belt Conference Championship. Now, ULL pushed us to the brink. We walked out of there 42-35 was the final score. We had to put up 21 points in the fourth quarter, and it was not easy. The passing game just couldn't get going. Randy finished with 179 yards through the air, 1 touchdown with 1 interception, but it was all about the run game. CG, Corey Gonzalez, 15 carries, 73 yards and a touchdown. Randy used his legs 8 times. He only carried the ball 8 times, but he had 126 yards and a touchdown. Keys also had a touchdown. The run game this year has just been an amazing sight. The 3 backs, including Randy, it's hard to stop those guys when they get going. Like we said, the passing game just couldn't get going. Thompson had 4 catches for 60 yards. DJ 4 for 41. Brock had 2 for 38. DJ Ryan had a catch. Keys had a catch, and then Keith Miller only had 1 catch for 11 yards. And even though we gave up 35 points, Rob Thomas, Kyle Butler, they showed out this week. Rob had 12 tackles, including 4 TFLs. Kyle Butler, 11 tackles, 4 sacks. The true freshman has really come on big the past couple of games. Pass rush, we use him as a spy when we have quarterbacks that could break outside the pocket. This is just his freshman year, and he's putting up some amazing numbers. James Ryan had a big day as well, 8 tackles. Mark had a sack. Riley had a sack. Who else? Charles Parks had a sack. Bo Reynolds had a sack. The defensive line is finally coming together. We've got the pieces now. These guys are young. I think the oldest guy on the defensive line that's getting playing time is Bo Reynolds, and he's a sophomore. So just think about how good this defensive line is going to be in the next 2 years. So we do have our ticket punched to the Sun Belt Conference Championship, getting ready to take on 6-6 Troy. They finished 5-3 inside the Sun Belt. They are a B+, B-. They average 33 points a game. Total offense, they're top 25. But when it comes to offense, we have the best offense in the country. Our pass game is ranked 3rd right now. That's insane. We have a top 80 defense, top 50 against the run. Our pass, though, kind of bad, man. Not going to lie to you. And I forgot, we did play Troy earlier this year, and we blew them out the water 56-35. They started the season off rough. They lost 6 games in a row, but turned it up after the Georgia State game, and they're on a win streak right now. They've got 6 in a row. So they lost 6 in a row to start the season. Now they're on a 6-game win streak, and they're coming in to the Sun Belt Conference Championship streaking, man. And, I mean, that's good for them. I don't see how they're going to beat us, but, we'll see what happens. They've got some people that are out there, right tackles out. That's going to be a problem because that's the side that Kyle Butler sits on. All right, so let's take a look at the top 25. Clemson is in at number 1. Their 1 loss to us. We beat Clemson earlier this season, but they were able to rattle off more wins. And their number 1 team, they are in the ACC Championship, getting ready to take on number 8 Pitt. Then you got Mississippi State in at 2. They're getting ready to be in the SEC Championship, taking on South Carolina. Auburn is in at 3. They're not going to be in a conference championship, so if we win, we should be able to jump them after beating Troy. Michigan's in the Big Ten Championship. They're in at 5, getting ready to take on number 20 Minnesota. Bama, 10-2 on the season, not in the SEC Championship. 7th is Stanford. They're in the Pac-12 championship, getting ready to take on Colorado. Then you got Pittsburgh in at 8. TCU is 9. Florida rounds out your top 10. And you've got Baylor, Texas, Penn State, Georgia Tech, Arizona State, Colorado, Michigan State, Illinois is in at 18. Florida State is 19. Minnesota 20. Oklahoma 21. Navy's in at 22. You got Utah at 23. Kansas State fell 11 spots to 24. And then you got Wake Forest rounding out your top 25. So let's take a look at scenarios. This could be an interesting week for our Black Bears because if we win the Sun Belt, we could jump Auburn. We should jump Auburn. Now, if Mississippi State or Clemson loses their conference championship, would we sneak into the top 2 spots? Like, could we be playing for a national championship? That's interesting to think about. Do they look at our one loss to Arkansas State better than Auburn's 2 losses this season? Wow. This could be an interesting week, man. It also depends on style points. Do we go out here and blow Troy out the water again and work our way back up the board? Or does, say Clemson loses by a field goal or Mississippi State loses by a point, do they stay in the top 2 just because they lost by a point? Now, I think if Mississippi State loses and because South Carolina is not ranked, we should be able to sneak up. I don't think a 2-loss Auburn team should get a chance to play for a national championship when they didn't win a conference championship. They're not even playing for their conference championship, and they also have 2 losses. So this is an interesting time. Sitting in at 4 right now, we hold our own fate in our hands. Taking a look at the Heisman watch and Clemson's quarterback, Tyson, not even going to try to say his name. He's the lead dog right now. And this guy has some amazing numbers. 46 touchdowns through the air, 4 interceptions on the year. And then on the ground, he added in another 5 touchdowns. Dude has 50 touchdowns altogether, 51 touchdowns. He's averaging almost 300 yards a game, 75 completion percentage. He's a monster, man. I'm excited that he is leaving, that he's going to be leaving college football because this dude is just too good. The speed's not that great, but he can run, great awareness, accurate than a mug, great elusiveness, throw powers. Okay. Man, I would hate to have to play these guys for a second time. Not even going to front. And then they have their running back on the list as well. Chaz Malusi. What kind of year is he having? Oh, nothing too great. 1,300 yards, 17 touchdowns on the ground. 181 yards after first contact, four rushes for over 20 yards. And then as a receiver, he has 3 receiving touchdowns. So 20 touchdowns altogether. He killed us, I believe. He put up some big numbers against us. Again, elusiveness, break tackle, carrying, trucking. Get both of these guys, get them out of here. Let them graduate already. Then you got Stanford's running back Austin Jones, Trey Sanders from Bama, and then Jordan Yates, the QB from Georgia Tech. Here's a look at the award finalists. As you can see, Clemson's quarterback up for the Maxwell, number 1 player on that board. The Walter Camp, there's their running back. He's number 1 on the board. The Bednarik, Corey Fitch from Iowa State. He's number 1. And at 7, Rob Thomas having a big year. We'll take a look at his numbers here in a few minutes. But it's just kind of disappointing. He had another great year, but cannot crack the top 5 for award finalists, man. They got a freshman on here who's ahead of him. He's got 6 sacks, but come on, man. The Nugurski, Stephon Wright from Arizona State, 10 sacks, 3 forced fumbles. There's the O'Brien. There's the quarterback from Clemson. The Doak Walker, the running back from Clemson. The Biletnikoff, their wide receiver from Clemson, he's got 19 touchdowns, y'all. 925 yards, 19 touchdowns. Wow. The Mackey Award. This is interesting. I'm very disappointed in how this is shaking up to be. David Jones is number 5 on this list. Everybody that's ahead of him, he's got better numbers. The only reason that they are ahead of him that I can see, they have rushing yards. So that means they play tight end and they also play fullback in their team's offense. And to me, that's not fair. David Jones, the numbers that he has, 86 catches, 1,281 yards, 10 touchdowns. Come on. This guy has more touchdown catches, but dude, come on, bruh. And by the end of the season, he might hit 100 catches and he might have 15 touchdowns. So it's just disappointing to see that he can't, he's not in the top 2 or 3. But again, he's only a redshirt junior. So he still has another year on campus. So hopefully his senior year, we could get him the Mackey Award. Clemson dominated, man. They got the Outland Award locked up. The Florida center, he gets the Remington Award. Stephon Wright is top of the board for the Lombardi. Best linebacker, Rob is 6 again. I feel like every year he's been at 5 or 6, between 5 and 7. But this year looks like John Jackson from Mississippi State. He's going to walk away with the award. The Thorpe Award, Corey Fitch, Iowa State. The Grozo Award, Chris Chambers from Vandy. The Ray Guy Award, it goes to Adam Long from Penn State. And then Best Returner, Ben Mills from Colorado. Jonathan Keys is 5th on this list. I think it was just a little bit too little, too late for him. He did return 2 kickoffs last week or a couple weeks ago. But again, he's only a junior, so maybe he could win his 2nd award his senior year. So if the bowl game were to start today, we would be playing in the Orange Bowl against Stanford. I think this would be a fun matchup for our squad. Stanford's a top 10 team. They're in 7. They're also in the Pac-12 championship. I think we played Stanford last year and we lost. So it would be fun to play them again this year. Right? Did we lose to them? Or did we beat them this year? Hold on. No, we played them last year and we lost. So it'd be great to have some kind of revenge against them this time in a bowl game. And honestly, I'm hyped because it's a big bowl. It's the Orange Bowl, one of the biggest bowl games there is. But we've got our eyes still on the Natty. I have a feeling one of these top 2 teams are going to lose, and somehow, some way, we're going to sneak in there, and we're going to be playing for the national championship this year. That would be amazing. Could you? Think about that, man. 4 years in, and the senior class gets to play for the national championship. Either way, we're going to be happy because we're in a big bowl game, and we'll just have to go handle business against Stanford if that's who we end up playing. So let's take a look at season stats. Randy Thomas II, the senior quarterback, he threw for 3,482 yards this year, 30 touchdowns with 18 interceptions. RT2 just got better over time, man. Look at the numbers. He started his freshman year. It was terrible. That first year of this dynasty was awful. I think he got hurt his freshman year, came back his sophomore year, split time with Larry Johnson, but he showed that he was the leader of this team. Came back his junior year, had a big year, led this team, and now this year it just got better. He threw for 600 more yards this year, 6 more touchdowns, but he did throw 3 more interceptions. I'm proud of Randy. I'm proud of what he accomplished here, but the job's not done. We gotta go get another Sun Belt Conference championship and a bowl game, hopefully. On the ground, the workhorse, Corey Gonzalez, 1,289 yards, 15 touchdowns. He averages just over 6 yards a carry. Then you got Randy, second on the team, with 112 carries for 761 yards and 10 touchdowns. His carry numbers are actually down this year compared to previous years. I mean, look at his sophomore year. His junior year, he almost went for 1,000 yards. This year, we were like, hey, let's use your arm a little bit more. Only run when you have to. And he did that, man. Look at that's crazy. I just noticed this. Look at the rushes for more than 20 yards. His sophomore year, he had 10. Junior year, 7. This year, 5. He had 18 rushing touchdowns his sophomore year. Just a true dual threat quarterback. Third on the team is Justin Smith, the senior, 367 yards, 13 touchdowns. He is the definition of a short yardage back for us. And then Jonathan Keys, 362 and 6 scores. I think going into next season, you'll see a more he'll be involved in the offense a lot more. Splitting time with him and Corey Gonzalez. I think those two as a two-headed monster next year is going to be scary. Out wide, we already talked about it, but David Jones is the man. He is the man. We got him. He transferred in his freshman year, sat a year, came back last year, 78 grabs for 1131, and this year he just blew that out the water. 86 grabs for 1,281 yards. He averages 15 yards a catch, 10 touchdowns. His longest reception is 71 yards. He averages 107 yards per game. The yards after catch is up for 336. And he had 4 drops this year, but he is the focal point of our passing game. Our quarterbacks are always looking for DJ across the middle, on the outside, and he's got sure hands, so he's going to catch the ball. Second on the team, Keith Miller, 51 grabs, 648, 8 touchdowns so far. Marcus Brock, third on the team, 36 grabs, 623 and 4 scores. AJ Thompson, 31 grabs, 509, 4 scores. We're losing 2 of our main receivers this offseason in Thompson and Miller. Marcus Brock has come on later this season, but he's going to have a more pronounced role going into next season. He's going to be wide receiver number 1 for us. Keys, 25 catches, 259 and a score. Gonzalez has 10 catches. Richie Carroll, this true freshman, man, he is explosive. 7 grabs, 103 yards, 2 touchdowns. I'm excited to see what we can do with him next season. We've got a great group of receivers coming in next year. And Richie Carroll and Marcus Brock headline that group. And those freshmen that got redshirted, watch out. Senior Vic Johnson, 6 grabs, 123 and a touchdown. Then you've got Justin Smith with 6 catches and DJ Ryan with 4. I'm probably proudest of this group, the offensive line. They've gotten better every year. Eric Kirby has given up the most sacks. He's given up 9 sacks, but he's tied for the most pancakes. Then you got Vince Smith out at right tackle. He's given up 4 sacks. Andrew Woods at left tackle. He's given up 2 sacks. Kyle Walton at left tackle. He's given up 2 sacks. And you got Carrington with 1 sack. Trey Simpson's given up a sack. And then Eddie Valentine, the captain, he's given up 1 sack. This group has gotten better every year. They're still young. I think Eddie Valentine, Trey Simpson, and Andrew Woods. Oh, Vince Smith too. Those 4 guys have been here, and they are growing together. Again, they've gotten better every year. They are a solid group. We're getting recruits in, building depth at the offensive line. Because once these guys are gone, it's up to like the underclassmen to step up and do their job. So it's great to see this. They're going to all be seniors next year, and it's going to be tough to let them go. But I think we've got some guys that are behind them that can step up and are ready to play. To the defense side of the ball we go. We talked about it already. Rob Thomas, big year. 83 tackles, 3 sacks, 24 TFLs. No interceptions, though. He had a couple of chances. He dropped them, but if he's not an All-American this year, it'll be a shame. James Ryan, 63 tackles on the year, 15 TFLs with 4 sacks. He stepped up big time his junior year. If you look at his numbers, his freshman year, 22, his sophomore year, 36, and then he almost doubled what he did last season. He's got a lot more playing time. Next year, we've already talked about it. We're going to kick him inside. He will be the starting middle linebacker for this defense. He'll be the captain probably as well. So he'll be making the calls. He'll be on the field the entire game. And we're excited to see where James can end up by the end of his career. The freshman, Kyle Butler. The Butler did it. 53 tackles on the year, 18 TFLs, 10 sacks. Again, we use him all over the field. He can pass rush. He's great against the run. We use him as a spy on running quarterbacks. And that's how he gets most of his sacks. But I'm looking for him to have the next 2 games, I'm looking for him to put on a show. He should be Sun Belt Freshman of the Year. Just with the numbers alone, this kid is amazing. Mark Prince stepped up big his junior campaign, 36 tackles. He's got a sack, 2 interceptions, 2 pick sixes at that, 3 pass deflections. He does get burnt in a couple, on those out routes and everything, but there was a stretch during the season where Mark Prince was just the best cornerback on the field. Chauncey Kraft, the transfer-free safety, man, this guy has stepped up big. 38 tackles on the year. He's got 3 interceptions. He's not afraid to come down and make a tackle. He can make a big play in coverage. And again, he's a junior, so next year is going to be his last year, and hopefully he can take his game to another level next season. Mark Lawson, sophomore cornerback, 35 tackles. I think he's got a pick. Yeah, he's got 1 pick. You got Nate Johnson. He's a sophomore, a strong safety, 34 tackles, a sack, 4 TFLs, and an interception. His role changed a lot. We've put him more in the box instead of having him play deep coverage. He still gets beat, matching up with tight ends, but he's probably one of the best tacklers on this team, and I feel like he needs to be on the field at all times. Sean Brown, the freshman, true freshman, getting a lot of playing time, 30 tackles on the year. Another guy who's not afraid to come down and put his face mask in somebody's chest, and he's great in coverage as well. Mike Davis stepped up big this year at corner, 28 tackles, 3 picks, 6 deflections. They don't throw it his way. They don't. They go Lawson's way more than they go Davis's way, which is amazing to see. He's becoming a true lockdown corner. The speed is going up. The man coverage and the press are going up. Let's just keep building on that going into next season. Here's a look at the sack leaders. Butler has 10. The other freshman, defensive tackle Corey Mark, he's got 8 sacks this year. He's having a big year. Charles Park stepped up his game his sophomore year. He's got 5. James Riley has 4. James Ryan has 4 as well. Nick Burrell, the senior defensive lineman, he's got 3. Rob's got 3. Bo Reynolds, the sophomore D tackle, he's got 2. They've got Nate Johnson with 1, Mark Prince with 1, and David Booth has 1. Turnover department, Mike Davis leads the way with 3 picks, tied with Chauncey Kraft. Mark Prince has 2 picks. Jerome Williams, the backup strong safety, he's got a pick. Kevin Davis has an interception. Nate Johnson and Mark Lawson has 1 as well. We forced 3 fumbles so far. James Riley has 1. Kyle Butler and Rob Thomas. We've recovered 2. Don't look at Jonathan Keys. They count kick sixes as fumbles, but Kraft and Mark both have recovered fumbles. And we have 2 defensive touchdowns, both to Mark Prince. Taking a look at the kicking game, Kelly Clark, 5 of 6 this year with a long of 41. Extra points, he's perfect, 7 of 7. He missed from he missed one from 40 plus. He's gonna get pushed next year. We got a kicker coming in next year that has got a booming leg. So Clark and the true freshman that's coming in, they'll be in competition this spring for the kicking job next season. Joseph Moore, 9 punts, 382 yards. He's averaging 42 yards per punt. 1 inside the 20, 1 touchback. We don't punt a lot. Offense, usually goes for it on short downs. Maybe next season I'll have to make it a rule when we play. If it's 4th and 5, we got to punt, or 4th and 4, something like that, we got to punt. Return game, Jonathan Keys, 50 kickoff returns for 1,505 yards, 2 touchdowns. And in the punt game, just couldn't get going, 22 returns for 273. Now, if we take a look at the NCAA leaders, Randy Thomas II is 3rd in the country in passing yards, behind North Texas's quarterback and Clemson's quarterback. That's crazy to think about, man. And on the ground, Corey Gonzalez is a top 25 running back. There's a lot of guys ahead of him. He's in at 21 with 1,289 yards. Receiving, DJ is 4th in yards. This is what I'm talking about, the disrespect that they're showing David Jones. He's a tight end and is number 4 in the nation with 1,281 yards. Tackle-wise, Rob leads the way in a big margin. James Ryan is 2nd, and Kyle Butler is 3rd. Sacks, you've got Kyle Butler in at 7 with his 10 sacks. Wow, look at Middle Tennessee. They got 2 guys up on their board with 10.5 sacks. And in the interception department, Mike Davis is 148th. The leader of the clubhouse is a guy from Wyoming and a guy from Buffalo. So let's take a look at recruiting. As you know, the end of the regular season is over with. We're in conference championship and bowl games coming up. So we're not allowed to put points on guys. So these races will be going into the off season. And we're excited, man. Trey Morgan, the athlete from Texas, number 15, 4-star prospect, 6'2", 225. He's got A&M as his number 1 team. Now remember, this guy is a wide receiver, 88 speed, 84 agility, 94 acceleration. He could play a little safety maybe, but with 80 catching, 86 route running, 81 release, 92 carry, 86 ball vision. This guy is a wide receiver. We're looking for more weapons for our guys going into next season. And I think Trey could come in and shake some things up in that wide receiving group. Might see some playing time early. Another wide receiver that is very interested in coming being a part of the Black Bears family is Donald Thomas from Texas, 6'2", 184. Another 4-star prospect, and we've got a huge lead over everybody. All the Texas teams were trying, but they could not convince this kid to come in. He's got 91 speed. The hands need some work, 71 catching. A great route runner, 87 route running. The spec catch is decent. The release probably needs some work. But, I mean, he's elusive with a 78 elusiveness. He can carry the ball. This guy is going to be a dangerous weapon. And I just saw this for the first time. 96 jumping. Goal line inside the red zone on a fade route with a guy that's 6'2" and 96 jumping. We might have a weapon here on our hands, guys. We're going to be losing our punter this year, but we've got Jacob Williamson from Vegas, Las Vegas, Nevada, 6'3", 210, the number 1 punter in this class, 3-star prospect. And again, booming leg, 92 kick power, 79 accuracy, 83 speed. We don't punt a lot, but when we do, we need somebody who can drive the ball downfield. And with 92 kick power, Jacob's our guy. Since we lost out on that defensive end, he chose to go to Auburn. We had to go searching, man, and we found Corey Bentley from Arkansas. He's a JUCO, 6'4", 240. He's interested in coming to be a part of the family as well. And this guy, he's powerful, man. He's strong, 75 speed, 80 strength, 85 acceleration, 82 power move. The block shedding is there with an 83. Solid tackler, great hit power, great pursuit. Play rec is there. Honestly, I might redshirt him coming in this season, and that way we could get him trained up, get him used to playing in our defense, and come the following season, he's going to be a monster on our D-line. Now, this guy is a late addition to the board. We had to take a trip down to Florida to find Ira Harris, 6'1", 182, 4-star prospect, the number 11 running back in this class. Guys, I think we might have found something special here. 90 speed, 85 agility, 85 acceleration, great elusiveness, great juke move, has a nasty stiff arm. The ball carrier vision and the carrying are solid. Only thing is he can't come out of the backfield and catch. We might have to work on his hands a little bit. He's got great release, decent route running for a running back. I think he's just too good to pass up. We do have 2 running backs already in this class, but it doesn't hurt to add somebody else. And a talent like Ira, we got to keep an eye on him. UAB is making a push, so is Troy. Florida State and Miami have kind of fallen back, but we'll have to make a decision. Is he better than Van and the other guy that we have on the board? I'm not sure. And here's the last player on our board. This is Marcus Amos from North Dakota, 6'3", 237, a defensive lineman. Again, just adding more depth to the defensive line group that's already pretty solid. This kid is a gem, 71 speed, 68 agility. 79 power move, 74 finesse, 78 block shed, 74 tackle, 83 hit power. I think that's what intrigued me in the 77 pursuit. Again, he could be a candidate for the red shirt next year if he decides to come here. Right now the defensive line is stacked. Charles Parks, you got Bo Reynolds, Corey Mark, Kyle Butler. We've got a couple guys that are, hardly seeing any playing time, but they're going to be in rotation next season. We've got a stacked defensive line group on the end and inside. So we're trying to add more. We've got a guy here, Jimmy Stewart, that just committed, 77 overall. He's going to be a stud for us. 6'6", 247. I think we added another defensive lineman in this group. No, all offensive, outside linebackers, middle linebackers. So, this group is just getting better. The defense is getting better. We're looking for more depth at each position. And this class that we've got right now, it could be one of the best recruiting classes that we've had. Last year's was great. This year's, it might be elite, guys. We are the top 10. We've got 16 prospects already, 6 4-stars, 8 3-stars, 2 2-stars. Arkansas has the number 2 recruiting class in the country. They got 2 5-star players coming in. They're 3-9. They got 2 wide receivers that are 5-star. They got a couple 4-stars at 1 D tackle, 2 D tackles, a tight end. They got a running back, an athlete, and a center coming in that are 4-star prospects. So, our class could be elite if we can pull off the rest of these guys in the offseason. I think that's a lot to ask. That's going to be a lot of points. I just thought about that. That's going to be a lot of points to spread out over those 6 players, I think. So we might have to narrow it down to who do we exactly want and who do we need. And before we get out of here, we need to take a look at our creative prospects. See where they're headed for their freshman year. Right now, Johnny McNair, he has a list that is short, but he's not committed yet. Minnesota's on his top team. Then you got Ole Miss, Missouri, Syracuse, South Carolina, Pitt, Michigan State. He has yet to receive a scholarship. Wow. Hopefully he finds a squad, man. Osiris Richmond IV, he has not committed yet, but he has scholarship offers from UAB and Troy. But the way it's looking, he's going to end up being a UAB Dragon. I think that's their mascot. We tried to get this guy early, man, but it looks like he's headed to Syracuse. This is Jacob Kerr, a running back from Conway, 4'4", 40, headed up to New York to play. Here's another guy here, Kenyon Kelly from Austin, Texas. He's headed out to LSU to play. The only 5-star prospect that I created, 5'8", 185. He's going to be a great slot player for those guys. At tight end, Adam Lawson is headed to Nebraska, the 3-star prospect, 6'3", 245. I tried to make a move for him, tried to pick him up, but he had his mind set on going to be a Cornhusker. Next up is Larry Not So Little from Pittsburgh, PA. Right now, Maryland is in the lead. Rutgers not too far behind. Those are 2 teams that offered him scholarships. He's a big boy, 6'8", 335. We did make a play for him, but again, he wanted to stay close to home. So Maryland, Rutgers, they got the upper hand. Blaine Atchley, the center from Chattanooga, Tennessee. He's staying close to home, going to Middle Tennessee. And then we picked up John Hawkins. He will be an A&M Bear next year, going to be sitting behind 2 pretty solid centers coming in. So that means his sophomore year, junior year, he will be our starting center, hopefully. Here's another guy, Ed Lord, the number 6 middle linebacker in this class. I'm very upset because I was trying to make a play for him, but I couldn't even scout him. He had us on his block list, but it looks like he's going to be headed to Boston College. NC State has offered him, Iowa's offered him, and so has UCF. That's not a bad list. He comes in as a 72 overall, 5'11", 235. From what I've seen on tape, reminds a lot of guys of Luke Kuechly. This race was really close. I mean, really close. But as soon as Ozzie Zuniga went for his visit to Missouri, it was over. The 3-star prospect has committed. He's going to be a Tiger next year. But we were able to pick up Jermaine Coco from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 5'10", 180. Kind of a project corner. He is pretty fast. I'm excited to have this guy on campus, just adding more depth to our cornerback room. 91 speed, 88 or 86 acceleration. The man coverage is solid. The zone coverage is solid. The press needs some work, but this kid could get a red shirt next year. In a couple years, be a star for this team. Big, strong safety Nick California, 6'2", 200 pounds from LA, is head up to Oregon State to play. He is the number 11 strong safety in this class, ran a 4.48. We had him on our board, but as soon as he got up to, he wanted to stay out west. He wanted to stay on the West Coast. As soon as he went and visited Oregon State, it was a wrap. Great speed. The hit power is there. Solid zone coverage. He's going to be a terror out there in the Pac-12. And the last created player is Keaton Holt, the kicker from Jenks, Oklahoma, 6'1", 165, and he will be an A&M Bear next year. He's going to be pushing Kelly Clark for playing time. This kid has a booming leg, 87 kick power, and he's not afraid to come down and make the tackle. There was tape of him sprinting down, catching up to a kickoff returner, and putting his helmet right into his chest. That's the kind of player we like to have on this team. If he does not beat out Kelly Clark next year, we would definitely put the red shirt on him, and he'll come back for his red shirt freshman season and be a whole lot better. The kick power will be probably in the 90s, and the accuracy will be high 70s. So, guys, that's going to do it for the first episode of the Bear Down Podcast. Coming up this week, we have the conference championship, the Sun Belt Conference Championship against 6-6 Troy. You'll get that game on Tuesday. Then on Thursday, the bowl game. Will our Bears be able to sneak in and get into the national championship if they win their bowl or their conference championship game, or are they going to end up in the Orange Bowl versus a team like Stanford? And then on Saturday, it is the off season. Hard to believe we are wrapping up season 4 already and getting ready to kick off season 5. I'm excited for it. I hope you guys are too. If there's anything that you guys want to see in the Bear Down Podcast, please feel free to drop it down in the comments section. I love hearing from you guys. I love hearing your ideas. Again, this will happen every Sunday. Every Sunday you will get an episode of the Bear Down Podcast. And I'm excited to bring it to you guys. This just gives you more in-depth of what's going on behind the scenes, the stats, the recruiting, a look ahead to all of the games that we have coming up in the following week. It's going to be fun, man. I think it'll be a fun addition to an already great series, man. But again, if you guys are enjoying the A&M series, make sure you smash that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're brand new. Don't forget to ring that bell, join the NATTY squad, and make sure you guys hit all those links down in my description. Follow your boy on Facebook, Twitter, and IG. And come through and join the Discord fam for exclusive content. And we'll talk from the Sun Belt Conference Championship against Troy. Have a great day, guys. 2 fingers in the air. Peace.